Hey there, are you ready for our next riveting experience? Well, buckle up, the fun and excitement is about to begin.
Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you stopping by. My name is Pat Moore. This is my YouTube channel, More Sporting. Today we're going to go through the kayak here and do a walkthrough of all the things that I've bolted on. This is a Titan 10.5 and I have set it up so that it works fantastic for me. Now it may not, the things that you see here may not work as well for you, but I thought it would be great to share. And in the immortal words of my landscaper, there's a lot going on here. So stick around, it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, let's start with the bow here. The first thing I want to show you is that the Titan 10.5 comes with a handle that is in line with the kayak like this. And when you're trying to carry the kayak that way, it's not very comfortable on your wrist. Most people like to have it at a 90 degrees. So this is the first thing that I did, is I built a handle and bolted it through the hull into some aluminum plates underneath there, because I wanted that weight that's on this handle to be distributed across a large surface area within the bow. That makes it stronger, more durable, less likely to fail. And if you're interested in knowing how I built those plates, I have a YouTube video. I will link it up above and in the description. And I didn't want these bolts here to go to waste, so I fashioned an aluminum insert here that has a hole drilled through it, and now I can put parachute cord through there, and I have a cord that I can attach to the front of the boat. Works great when you're working around docks. Okay, next, let's check out what cool fun things we got inside here. So what I have in here is a box. You could probably just make out the box in there and some zip ties. I have the cables tied to the top of the box. That is my remote control electronics power switching unit. That's a mouthful. I do have a video on that as well, how I built that. It's all built from components off of Amazon. Easy to build, and they're like 50, 60 bucks to build that. So really nice little unit to do that with. And I have a remote here on my vest that allows me to turn stuff on and off. Now you probably can't see, I don't know, maybe you can. All right, let's take a look at the remote control switching. So A is going to be my USB. You can watch the little blue light on there. Come on, see, blue, off, on. So the USB is now on, and my camera is actually recording. Take that off. B is my 360 light. I turn that on. That's great. C is my deck lights. You can see those come on and off. Great. And we know D is a horn. So that's your remote control switching, and it's all done from the unit that's inside the hull. And then D is the horn. Rather loud, and like I said before, I hope I never have to use that. Okay, next thing on the boat is my camera mount. I don't like this camera mount. I'm going to completely redo it because it's got a lot of wobble in it, and I think that's too much to ask for my anti-wobble software to be able to clear that mess up. So this is all going to get replaced, but one of the things I did want to show you is that this is remotely powered. I have a USB port here that I've mounted on the gear track, and that connects to my main battery. And the whole idea behind this is so I can run the camera non-stop from the point which I launch all the way to the point when I load it in the truck. And one of the nice things about this is that this is an add-on that I created. It's an acrylic tube that I glued to the side of the waterproof case, and that allows me to connect the USB cable to the camera while it's outside of the case. And then I can put it in the case while doubling the cable over inside that tube, and then I can latch it all up and it becomes completely sealed and waterproof. Now you won't find too many cases that you can remote power and be waterproof, but this one does it. I've fished it out of the lake and there's no water in it. So that's a nice setup, a nice little detail. Hi folks, moving back on the kayak here. First thing I'll talk about here is the USB power station I have. So as I mentioned, it's connected to my main battery, and I designed this plastic shield around it for the one specific use that I don't want it to get wet. So none of these USB things are really very waterproof, even the ones that say they are. And And they're only waterproof when you're not using them. So if you have a cable plugged into them, water's going to get in there unless you do something completely out of stock, which is what I've done here. I created this box. It slants this way, so any water that hits it is going to run off. And I have the USB cable. It connects in there. It's below the level of where it connects in, so it becomes a drip line. So any water that hits the cable, rather than flowing on the cable into the unit, it actually drips off down towards the bottom. So relatively waterproof. We'll see how well that holds up. It's only been on here for about 3 or 4 weeks, so I haven't really tested it as much as I'd like. These guys right here are plastic bins that I got off of Amazon. Obviously they're going to hold up in the rain. That's fantastic. I bolted those to a piece of aluminum, which allows me to then, it's aluminum angle iron. It allows me to bolt them to my gear track, and I can move them anywhere in the boat that I need to have some sort of storage facility. And what I'm doing with these is I'm basically storing my my lure scent material in there. So if you thought I don't have any sense, I have 3 containers right there. This guy here, sorry, that was a bad dad joke. This guy right here is my downrigger, and I have obviously a rod holder mounted to the top of that. And I use this for trolling for trout, and they're somewhere between 30 and 50 feet typically in Lake Sammamish, but they can be as deep as 100 feet. And so having a downrig is really the best way to be able to target those. And I do also troll for bass, but I tend not to use a downrigger when I'm doing that. But I leave this on here, bolted on here all the time, because it also doubles as an anchor. And in light winds or in weedy areas, 3-pound ball will hold the kayak relatively stationary. So it works out pretty well as a backup anchor. So that's why I leave that on there. I also have here a roll of leader material, and I've mounted this also to the gear track, and it's spring loaded, so it tends not to roll too much. I've got a rubber band on there to keep it from getting unspooling and stuff. But I have this mounted here because when I set something down, I'm notorious for losing stuff. So I like to have things that I use on a regular basis mounted where I can easily find it and get to it. And you'll see that as a theme as I go through the kayak. But I do that so that I always know where it is and I have it readily available. Okay, moving along with the same theme of having stuff right at arm's length and where I want it to be. I have my catch board here, and I have it mounted on the edge of my seat like this for a very specific reason. When you catch a fish, you need to know whether it's long enough to measure. And the faster you can do that, the faster you can return a fish that's too short back to the water. And so having it right here, I can lay the fish on here and ID pretty quickly whether that fish is one that I should be measuring or not. So it gets the fish back in the water with very little duress. It's also a lot faster if you're catching a lot of fish, which generally isn't my problem. But it is faster. If that were the case, someday maybe that will become important to me. I also have my stainless steel pliers. I don't like anything that rusts, so everything's stainless steel. And I have those on a tether, and I have that mounted to the side of my seat with rare earth magnets. Now I have a video on those rare earth magnets and how you can mount those to the side of your seat. That'll be linked above or in the description. Also have a pair of scissors specifically designed for cutting fishing line, and those are also magnetized to the side of the seat, and also on a tether. So no matter what, I cannot put these scissors somewhere where I can't find them, because if it weren't tethered, then I would put them somewhere and it would take me 20 minutes to find them. But right now I always know that they're right there. I can't lose them. You just let go of them and they go back here. So that's why I have them set up that way. I also have a ShamWow here, which allows me to get the fish slime off my hands and also clean off my thumb, which helps me to open up my camera. And that also is on a tether, so I cannot lose it. If you've watched my channel at all, you'll know that I've designed and built this onboard wheel system, and this has been one of the nicest things that I have done to this kayak. I'm thrilled with it. The way that it works, the way that the wheels stow, everything about this system that I came up with works fantastic. So if you're looking for adding wheels to your kayak, I do have a couple videos showing how this was put together, and also how it works. You can see how I've used it. I think there'll even be some clips on this video where you can see me rolling it around the parking lot here. But top notch, there's video on that. Please check that out. Next on the list is my rod holders here. I have a video on how I built these as well, and you'll notice that they're all on the gear track. They're not on my crate. And I do that because you saw in the video, I roll this thing into the back of my truck and I unload it onto a cart in my garage. So there's no need to have it on a separate box. And I don't have any situation, or I have not run into a situation where I have to strip down the kayak before I go fishing. So for me, it's just nice to have these further on the outside. It's easy to reach around and grab your rods, and they're adjustable. I can put more on or take some on or off anytime I need to. So yeah, most flexible system is to have them here on the gear track. That's why I have them here on the gear track. This is my 360 light and my safety flag, and I have that on a Scotty adjustable mount here, so that I can flip that down before I put it in the truck, and you'll see that I think in one of the video clips. Also have another one of my USB powers back here, so that I can power the rear camera. Okay, so this is my rear camera, and this is new for my channel. I haven't even posted any footage from this camera yet, but I decided that I needed to add this camera so that I got the view over my shoulder. I got two things that I want you guys to be able to see. I want you to be able to understand what it is that I'm looking at when I'm making casts and fishing, and also I want to be able to capture some stuff off of my Garmin live scope, so I can show you what I'm seeing on the live scope as well. So I don't have to purposely be recording that as well. This should just pick it up as I'm fishing. And both of these cameras will be running nonstop while I'm fishing. So theoretically, I should be able to capture all of my catches as long as I don't mess up turning these on or off. But that's new to the channel. I also have on the back here, Next Adventures gave me a free flag to keep me from breaking the law as I'm driving down the road. So you have to have something red or high vis on the back of anything that sticks out of the back of your truck. This does. So that's a permanent resident on the back of of the kayak. Okay, again, I got more rod holders on the left side of the kayak here, and this is what most people call their crate. In this case, it's a plastic box. It's actually a plastic box that is being distributed as an ammo box. I got these at Outdoor Emporium. I think I got it from the Fife location. It's got clips on both sides, and you notice the clips are on the front here, so I can open it and hinge the thing back. I can easily do that from my seat, which is nice. It's got a rubber gasket around the inside, which makes it waterproof, and a nice design for what I'm trying to do with it here. So really like that box. One of the things I like about it most is that it was small enough to fit in here. It doesn't go all the way to the edges. It gives me some extra room on both sides, but big enough to store all the stuff that I need to take when I'm fishing or in a tournament. This is my live scope. It's mounted to my spanner for my onboard wheels. All of my electronics are bolted onto the top of my battery keeper, and I will come up with some sort of cover for that. It looks a little bit disheveled there, but I'm going to come up with a cover on that so that that's hidden a little bit. This bungee cord is actually on here so that I can hold the door of my truck down when I'm transporting it. The last thing in here that I need to point out is my paddle. So the way that these Titans work, they have a groove in the back here. You can see where the paddles typically are mounted, and then there's a clip inside here that you clip your paddle to. Well, my issue is that because I put in the onboard wheels, it's difficult to get that paddle in and out of that area. So I decided I needed to do something else with that. So I actually took my paddle and I mounted a handle to it. Allows me to have a handle on it that acts just like a canoe paddle. And then I also put in Yak Attack connectors so that I can have it connected, and it's here readily available at arm's reach whenever I need to pedal the kayak a little bit. And you know, usually I need to move it a couple of feet, and then I can use my pedal drive. So I don't have to typically paddle a long distance, and that's why I have it set up that way. But should I have to, I can pull the other side out over there, take the handle off, and make a regular kayak paddle out of it. So that's what I've done with the paddle. Okay, so I basically put together a larger rod holder here that it's just a tube that I put my net in, and I have that right here on my left shoulder, so easily accessible when I have a fish on. I don't have to go rooting around trying to get my net out. I will sometimes lay that on the front when I'm fishing, just so it's easier to grab a hold of it. But I like having it slightly behind me. It's out of the way and easy to grab. I have mounted a piece of PVC plastic tubing to my steering wheel. It gets it up a good 6-8 inches higher than it was. That makes things so much more comfortable when you don't have to lean over to steer with. And I do have a video on that showing you how I did that. I don't have a whole lot of high praise for that. It's nice to have it higher, but this is kind of a cobbled together system. But it does work, and I'm satisfied with it until I get around to doing something a lot nicer than that. I also have here a small plastic box that I have mounted to an additional gear track that's on the inside there that has to do with my seat. We'll go over that in a minute. You'll notice that's a pretty small box. Well, I keep it small because then I'm forced to clean it out on a regular basis, and I routinely find rusty hooks and stuff in the bottom of that because I don't clean it out enough. But keeping it small makes it so I clean it out more often. I also typically carry around some Sharpie markers with me in case I want to add some additional colors to my lures. I have those there as well. You'll notice that I have some equipment mounted to the side of this one. This is split ring pliers. They have an additional set of cutters on there. I can put split rings and hooks on and off with those, and they're also magnetized to the seat. And this is my fish clip, so when I have a fish that actually passes muster over there where it's long enough to measure it, I can clip that fish and I can put him down here in the water. Now this tether it's spring loaded, so it tends to keep the fish up out of the water, which bothers me. I want them to be in the water. So I added a little hook down here next to my net, which allows me to hook that, and now it keeps the fish in the water. It's just the one little less thing that helps keep the fish from getting stressed. All right, let's talk a little bit about my live scope. So this is an aluminum tube that I mounted inside a piece of PVC. There's a shim in there. There's all sorts of complicated things here, and I should have done a video of it, and I didn't do that. Suffice it to say, there's dozens and dozens of ways that you can put a live scope on the side of a kayak, and I'm not going to pretend that mine is any better than anyone else's. The one thing that's kind of neat about this one is you'll notice that it's staying in the upright position here because I have a bolt in this receiver that holds it in place, and if I pull it out, it's spring loaded, so if I pull it out I can rotate it and it will connect back into another notch on that same tube, and that holds it in place while I'm fishing. So that's kind of a nice feature. It helps keep that connected, and that live scope is connected to my Garmin. It's a 9-inch unit. I think it's an EcoMap 93 CS or something like that. I don't know. You'd think that they would mark the model number on the outside of the Garmin units themselves, but I can't find it. And the only time I can figure out what it is when I go look up what I bought on Bass Pro Shop. So it's something like it's a 9-inch unit. Very, very common, and just as far as I'm concerned, perfect size for a kayak. So I'm really happy with that. Here's the horn that I have mounted. I hope I never have to use that, but that's the horn. Now you may have noticed on the seat here that that black box that holds the seat up on every other Titan in the universe is not on this kayak. I removed that because it's just additional weight, and all it does is hold the seat up. I do have a video on how I built this entire seat setup, so go check that out. That'll also be linked. But one of the really, really cool things that I want to point out here is that I have all sorts of room underneath here. So let's remove that bungee cord which holds everything in. So I have lots and lots of tackle that I can store under here. Probably about 4 times too much tackle if I'm going to be honest. But because I'm a relatively new fisherman, I don't know what would be the appropriate thing to take in what situations, so I just take everything. I don't ever want to feel like I don't have what I need because I didn't bring it. So I did bring it, and you see I've got more, twice that as here. I also have, this is my jig box that goes under the seat, and then my top waters and spinner baits and buzz baits are in that box there. And so I have lots and lots of room under there, and that's all because I got rid of that black box and I put in this additional gear track which is bolted into the standard gear track, and that's what holds the seat up. All right, we're going to do a little quick walk around on the kayak here just so you guys can get a little bit better overview of all the things that I talked about. If you have any questions about any of the stuff that you see on here and I didn't link a video that I should have, by all means hit me up in the comments. I'm pretty good about responding to comments, so hit me up, that'd be great. Wow, the video's done already. Thanks for stopping by the channel, really appreciate it. If there's anything on the kayak that I didn't cover that you want some clarity on, please post it up in the, we'll respond. If there's something that you think I need to add to the kayak, well, it's not quite sinking yet, so I think I could bolt something else on there. Let me know about that as well. It would be really great if you could hit the like button. That's a pretty painless operation right there. Also subscribe if you haven't, and share this video on all of your favorite social media platforms. That help me out a great deal. Anyway, so this is the end of the video. It's about all I got for you. Thanks again for stopping by.